doing, man. It's awesome.
Right, this is one of those tests I'm actually legitimately nervous about. Now, how you guys doing? We're going to be working on the Notchback today. We're going to be testing out the nitrous kit. Relax. I'm going to take these off and put through bolts in there before you start talking that shit. So update. The nitrous kit has been installed for over a month. Time. I just have no time to do anything anymore. So, I sent the car up north, about in Florida, to get worked on. And, well, that's pretty good. That's pretty good bottle pressure. I'm going to put it on the sun so we can get at least 900 bottle pressure on it. So the nitrous kit was installed, but luckily the person that installed the kit shall remain nameless. He doesn't want people knowing that he works on cars. He just said, let me just clean up some stuff. So he did me a solid, and he got some stuff cleaned up. He kind of just shined up the back here. And he did a really good job installing the nitrous kit. So let me go ahead and show you that. So under the hood, it's, I don't want to say straightforward in case you guys aren't really aware of what nitrous kits look like under the hood. But obviously you have a nitrous and a fuel solenoid, and you have a purge. So the purge obviously right here is to clear out the line of any air, just to make sure that you have nitrous all the way to the solenoid so that when you hit it and it mixes with the fuel, it actually doesn't have like a momentary, more fuel than nitrous mixture going in there. Now, how does this kit activate? Well, it activates with an activation switch. So what I would do is I would flip this up, and now the nitrous kit is active. This would be the purge. How does the nitrous activate? Well, it's a wide open throttle switch. How does that work? It's a little micro switch right here. And this little micro switch, when I go wide open throttle, it clicks that little lever, this guy right here, right there, that guy. When I go wide open throttle, you will see this clicks, and that clicking activates nitrous only when I am wide open throttle. If I let off a little bit, no nitrous. If I give it more gas, more nitrous, nitrous comes back on. So today is the day where I'm going to test this guy out. Spark plugs have been gapped. Everything's good. Get the bottle pressure up to 900, purge it, and do a hit and see if these tires stick. What I did do recently was upgrade to a set of Bellac wheels because I didn't want to drive around on the bias plies. The bias plies require an extra spacer, and these are the wheels that the bias plies are on. So I said, let me just get another set of wheels and drive the drag radials on them. Now we'll see if the drag radials are actually gonna stick. I don't think they're gonna stick. I think they're gonna blaze tire. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna roll into it in third gear. After 3,500 RPMs, then I go wide open throttle. Up to about 6,000 or 6,200 RPMs, let off, pull off to the side, look at the spark plugs. I'm gonna try to video the air fuel gauge, the wideband, but that there might be some latency there, and it might not be, super accurate. So I want to make sure that do it old school, 35 to 6,000, let off, pull off to the side, check plugs, see what it looks like, and then see if they're fat, see if they're lean, see if the strap burned off, because it's pilled to a 150 shot, 150. So enough talking. Oh, I'm actually kind of nervous. Let me get out there. Okay. Oh, by the way, I filled up with Sunoco 260 GT. This car has full tank of Sunoco 260 GT. Cost me $120 to fill up because it's 12 gallons. And I have an extra amount back there. Not that I need it, but I don't know why. I feel like I need to have more fuel with me because it hasn't a full tank. So I'll just leave that off in case there's a fire and that just becomes a fuel to a fire. So I'll just let that go. I'll also get myself a fire extinguisher just in case shit pops off. But again, let's see if this thing gets a hit in on nitrous, get all the safety precautions, get the fire extinguisher and everything, and go out there in Mexico, way the fuck out there in Mexico, and make a hit. All right, so let me pressurize the system, make sure there's no leaks. Okay. Is this infinite? How does that work? What the hell, Alex? Maybe you don't need to crack it all the way, huh? Okay, so I'll just give it a couple turns, I guess. All right, and let's give it a purge. What the hell? Box body life. All right, let's give it a purge. See, make sure the systems are working. Purge should come out of there. Might be really loud. Activate nitrous. Ooh, it's red. And it should purge. Yep, let's get some nitrous coming out of there. There we go. So, got nitrous in the line. That's how you know. So the challenge is going to be, let's say the test goes well and everything goes swimmingly and the thing's just do a third gear hit and it's clean. I look at the spark plugs and everything's happy. Do I do a 60 to 130? And if I do a 60 to 130, where do I do a 60 to 130? Just to kind of get some long-term data, shifting data, just to then pull off and see the spark plugs. I don't know, I think I hesitate to do that. I'd rather do that at a track, in a controlled environment. But boy, it's enticing to at least try to do 60 to 130 just for the hell of it. But let's do a third gear hit. Let's see what it does. Look at the plugs. Hopefully that's decent enough data to let us know how the nitrous kit is doing. Okay, I'm gonna hopefully try to record the air fuel data. Third gear hit, no nitrous, just to see how it's doing and just to see what the difference would be when nitrous is activated. So third gear, 3,000 RPM. So now I'm going to do a third gear hit with nitrous, activate it, purge it. There we go. Put a lot of air in the line. Alright, let's hope we stay in the middle of the lane here. Past 3,000 RPM, let's see what it does. I'll look at the video and see what the air fuel data did. Okay, so I don't know what happened, but apparently the overflow said no thank you. Now, that's not a good thing, because that means the coolant system got pressurized when I did the third gear hit. Look, again, this is why I wanted to test it before I took it to the track and did any dumb stuff. So obviously something's going on. It pressurized the fuel, it pressurized the coolant. So I need to figure out why it's doing that. Let me see what temperature looked like. It's a mechanical gauge. Temperature looks good. Really weird. And the temperature is not, that's odd. But it definitely pressurized the coolant system. So chicken or the egg, right? Like, if temperature did not rise, but coolant pressurized, did I push a head gasket? You know, like, it's one of those things where you kind of have to figure it out. But yeah, well, it felt good in the interim. But this is why we test. And I was local. I wasn't way the hell out of Mexico. So I got to figure out, wow, this thing's not even, you know what? Is the thermostat even open? That's odd. Yeah, I don't know. It's super tight. Let me turn it on and make sure the water pump's pumping, and we'll see what it does. Yeah, this is why we test, kiddos. I saw something coming out the hood, and I'm like, oh man, is that fuel? But nope. All right, starts. Let it run for a little while. Yeah, it's not, hasn't circulated yet. Feels real tight, so I wonder if it's just, yeah, see? Why? I wonder why. It's not circulating yet. Very odd. Theoretically, it should be circulating, but it's not. I'll let it puke out. What's happening? Why don't you want to go into engine coolant? It's super tight. Or maybe I didn't blow a head gasket. Maybe the thermostat's stuck, which is stupid to even have a thermostat. I know. Come on, kiddo, because I don't want to blow a hose. Hey, yo. Interesting. Yeah, no, it's fine. Boy, you would think that this guy would be, I don't know. There it is. Okay. Weird. Yeah, no, I don't know. All right. Let me check the oil. Make sure it didn't become milk. Okay, let's see what the oil looks like. It didn't look milky. I don't know how instant that would be, but I wonder why the hose feels super tight. Let's see. This oil. Okay. Oh, there we go. No, dude, it's good. Yeah, I don't know. That's cool. All right. So yeah, don't know what's going on. Don't know. Maybe I should just eliminate that thermostat and try again. Definitely not testing today. But let me see what's going on with this coolant stuff. It doesn't get in there. Oh, I got. Sorry guys. Whoever gave me these shirts, apologies. They come in handy. Huh. Odd. Very odd. Never got hot. Obviously it's pressurizing coming back, but yeah, I'll grab it a bit, see if this stuff starts to kind of make sense. So how did it feel? Okay. A 150 shot. Felt okay. Didn't feel phenomenal. I grabbed fourth, which I probably shouldn't have, but I'll see what the video says, but felt okay. Didn't feel like phenomenal. Yeah, it's misfiring a little bit. That's what I get for testing a nitrous kit. You know, I was hoping a 150 shot wouldn't be too much, but maybe the gaskets were compromised or something, because it feels like it smells like it's burning coolant. So I might be tearing into this guy or selling it. Like the last thing I want to do is tear down and do head gaskets on something. But I mean, we'll see. We'll see what the deal is. But if the head gaskets are blown on it, I have to go, okay, what's my motivation? Do I want to work on this? Probably not. Let's be honest, probably not. So, you know, if in the maiden voyage the nitrous kit didn't pan out like I thought it would, meaning just, oh yeah, it's misfiring, blah 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 blah. Oh, it's misfiring. Yeah, it feels like it's misfiring. So I'm gonna go home, pull the plugs, see if I burn one of them up or something, and report back. Well, I appreciate you, little guy. I appreciate you getting me back home and not overheating. So let's pull some plugs. Let's see what's going on. To me, it's a head gasket issue, and honestly, it's minor, but I just don't think I have the motivation to fix it up. Look at the smoke coming out the back. Definitely a head gasket issue. So I'll pull the plugs on this side and see what the deal is. Well, you flew too close to the sun, little guy. You flew too close to the sun. That's why we test, brother, because I didn't want to, you know, I didn't want to take it all the way to Bradenton and have an issue. So I'm going to let it, actually, I didn't have to let it cool down. I have gloves. Pull the plugs, see what the deal is. I'm not going to go crazy with compression checks or leak downs. It's hurt. You could just hear it. It's not mixing with the oil yet, which is good. So if anyone was to buy this, theoretically, if nothing's cracked in the bottom end, then you can go ahead and replace the head gasket. Hell, I'd rock this thing NA forever, but I just don't have the time and motivation to do it. So let me pull plugs and see what the deal is. So the dipstick did not show me anything conclusive, but the fact that it's a little more full than it was tells me that it's starting to mix, because yeah, there's a little, let's just say, too much in there. So I think it's starting to mix. So definitely a head gasket. You know, again, oil pressure seemed okay, so it's going to be a head gasket 100%, and that's usually what happens. The car was old. It didn't owe me a damn thing. I was just so happy that it got me into the 10s NA. So I'll pull plugs, but it looks like to be a head gasket for sure, which, you know, let's be honest, guys. I don't want to tear into this thing. It's a very old car, very old platform. And if somebody out there can benefit, I'm not going to give you a crazy discount. Let's not be crazy here. You know, it's got a motor in it. It's got a trans in it and a nitrous kit in it. You're still going to pay over $8,000 for this thing. If you don't think so, that's fine. It'll sit here. But it's definitely going to need head gaskets. So that's something that the new owner is going to have to definitely take into account. But it served its purpose for me. I got my jollies off, got a new carburetor in it, got a nitrous kit in it. So if anyone wants to actually, you know, do the studding and the head gasket and all the, you know, top end work and maybe bottom end work, if you want to mess around, it's probably a good little car to get started with. I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit, but let's be honest, that's kind of where I was with this car. I was right about to sell it. Then I'm like, let me try to get into the 9 stick, and it said, no, thank you. So pull plugs, verify that it's a head gasket, which I'm pretty sure it is, and we'll finish up the video. It's funny, I pulled, I don't know what this one is, 5, I don't know, and it's like smoking. So yeah, the head gasket definitely said no. And looking at the plug, it doesn't look terrible, but it's definitely a little on the wet side. So, I mean, take that for what you will. For those plug readers out there, amateur plug readers, you know, it had a 28,000 scap, if I'm not mistaken, and it's 2-step colder than stock for a 150 shot. But yeah, it looks like, and let's just keep taking stuff out. That was definitely on the rich side, but honestly, I think just the extra pressure, think about it, you're shoving 900 PSI through the sucker, and then you're raising the combustion, I don't want to say temperature, but basically you're just making the combustion event hotter. And the gaskets just said, nah, I'm good, bro. They probably would have been compromised from just years. Who knows how old this build is, and I just decided to shove 150 through it. So let's keep pulling plugs. Okay, so there's an obvious issue with one of the cylinders. Obviously, this thing was running super fat, okay? Definitely air fuel mixture was on the rich side, a lot of soot. I did run pump gas through this guy for a little bit, but I ran Sunoco 260 GT for this particular test, and I couldn't really tell what's what. Obviously, it's fat, so kind of skewing everything, and I couldn't really give you a good indication of how the combustion event was in the other cylinders because it was very fat. So either the jetting is off or the nitrous, you know, something is off, obviously, in terms of air fuel. I'll, again, look back at the video, slow it down as best as I can, and determine what air fuel looked like. And again, this is this bank, which I believe is bank 1, right? So number 1 cylinder is in the front. If you go all the way to the back here, on the other side, we have a very obvious guy that looks totally different than all the others. And what happens when you clean something via steam? Looks like that. So it looks like the front cylinder probably got compromised in the head gasket area, and it started to mix. Maybe I caught it in time. I wasn't more than 3 miles from the house, 4 or 3 miles, but everything else looks the same. So that side looks the same, this side looks the same, except this one, the front one. So suffice to say, this guy in the front, compromised combustion event or a head gasket being compromised, and it did not survive the test. So what am I going to do? Well, I'm very clear about this. I like the car. I don't love the car. Yeah, it's a wonderful car. I got it very cheap from the parts farm. We struck a deal for sponsorship on the channel and stuff like that. I'm very transparent about that. I've always said that if I put it up for sale, it'll be in the 7,000 to 8,000 range. I'm still there. I'm going to be honest with you, because a head gasket and some labor, you might have yourself a pretty darn good car here. Maybe you don't agree, and that's okay. And if people don't bite at it at about $8,000 with everything included except the wheels, these wheels are staying with me. So I'll have to figure out what to do about wheels, because those have the bias plies. Actually, you know what? I might sell it with those wheels. With the bias plies on them and just get them gone, because they have spacers. They're not the exact correct back spacing, but the Bellacs are staying with me forever. So these are going on the Fairmont, and you can have these fronts no problem. You can have these and these for the car for, I want to say $8,000. $8,000 seems to be good, but I'm not looking to screw anybody. I just want to, you know, give someone a halfway decent deal. If you're good at, you know, wrenching, you might be able to be a head gasket and maybe tuning the nitrous kit away from a 9-second stick shift car. I think this car can do it if I didn't have this guy decide to wash itself. So everything else looks okay. Fat for sure, so the tune-up needs work. The carb jetting might need some work, who knows. But at the end of the day, do I want to get into this labor-intensive stuff? No, not at all. I just don't have the time and honestly the desire. I was hoping to get as much as possible out of this car before I sold it, but you know, obviously the nitrous was the last straw, and it said, no, I'm out of here, thank you very much. So that'll be it for the Notch, I think, on this channel. Unless, you know, something happens, I might just be selling it. So we'll see. I mean, the number in my head is $8,000. But if something happens between now and whenever this video airs that makes me change my mind, I'll give you guys a heads up. Anyway, sorry that I couldn't get you those tests, but that's why I wanted to make sure I tested this guy locally. I did not want to go out there, go wide open throttle in Bradenton and have an issue way the hell over there. I'd rather have it close by. And now that the issue is a head gasket, now we either fix it and go again, or sell it as is for $8,000 in Vaya con Dios. All right, guys, thanks for listening. It did not survive the test. I'll see you guys later. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.